a licky to do, and so is this one.
Chuck, what are you doing?
Sir.
Oh,
gotta
you
get-
gotta sit over
You
here.
gotta get in the big seat.
Oh, you get
Yeah.
you get to hit the gavel.
Move your name tag.
Come on, let's get over here.
No, you got voted to it. Don't be pointing at Dale.
Here, you wanna hit it there or you wanna sit over here?
My goodness, does it matter where I sit, Dave?
No.
You gotta sit in the big,
Oh, come on.
the big table, man, big chair.
Big chair.
Ooh.
Yeah, why don't you give a hint? I think they have everything.
I've got it on the computer.
Yeah.
Your phone. Oh, now I can sit.
All right,
It's your lucky day.
ready when you are, Chuck.
Oh, I can't believe I made it. It's a rough day.
All right. It's 2:00. We'll call the order, the city council special call meeting Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. Notice hereby given the Port Aransas City Council will conduct a special meeting on Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, beginning at 2 p.m. at the regular meeting place, council chambers, City Hall, 710 Avenue, Port Aransas, Texas. Notice given meeting time, place, date, and subject was posted as prescribed in the VTCA Government Code 551041 for the purpose of considering the following agenda item. Call to order, citizen comments, I guess. Are there any?
Any comments out there? Nope.
Nope. Okay, no citizen comments. Then we move to items for consideration. And that's to discuss and take action or pass on any of the following. A, discuss and take action on a resolution awarding a bid for emergency bulkhead repairs at Roberts Point Park, authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents and provide an effective date.
So let me just give you a quick layout so you guys know where this is. So here is the ship channel. And you see the Roberts Point Park there in the bottom. And what we're thinking's going on is, you know, of course, we had the deepening. So that's the biggest change in the last 5 years. But on the flood, or excuse me, on the ebb with the outgoing tide, the ship channel gets narrower at this point right here. So you have, so to counter that, you're going to have an increase in velocity of flow along this edge right here, and you're going to get scour on that point. And that's exactly what happened. So we looked at this area about 2 years ago when we were having scouring in Charlie's Pasture, and it did not have the scour depths. On the 9th of June, which was a Monday morning, Parks and Rec reported several cracks in this area right here. There was the sidewalk had dropped for about a 20-foot section of sidewalk dropped about 6 to 7 inches. And then we had large cracks in some of the sidewalk, and we had some large cracks in some of the bulkhead panels. We had urban engineer come out, not the next day, but the day after, and we immediately started to make a move on emergency measures. And our first step was we were going to get a bunch of rock in, but within about 4 days, on Sunday the 15th, it collapsed. So what happened was you had the panels, the concrete panels that are the face of the bulkhead. The scour was below the bottom of the panel. So basically there's nothing holding the panel out. And so the bottom's kicked out and you had failure and the whole thing collapsed into the drink. So, so we had to redo our plan of attack. Urban quickly came up with the design fix, and that's what you have in front of you here. And we got that bid out as quickly as we could, and we got 5 responses. And I'm going to turn it over to Anthony and his team, and they can kind of walk you through the design and the process that we went after the bidders on.
Hello, everybody. So our design consists of a metal sheet panel, cantilevered. It's 40-foot long metal sheet panels. They're 1/2 inch thick steel coated for saltwater corrosion. This is a pretty common repair. Use these metal sheets. They'll become part of the permanent structure in the future. You'll actually demo the cap and pour a concrete cap over the top of it and encapsulate that and then the sidewalk and the concrete cap. So
Which is not part of this project.
correct.
This is just and I'll let him go through what exactly this details. That's the two things that aren't in it.
So this is the emergency measure to stop soil loss in the island. Right now, every time a big boat comes by, you've got a wave that crashes in and causes more damage and more soil loss and more erosion. So time is of the essence on getting a quick repair in so you don't lose another 100 feet of bulkhead or 20 feet of bulkhead. So we've got 21 feet 25 feet that has fallen in the water. And there's another 20 feet right now that's just hanging on and doesn't look good. So contractors trying to mobilize, if we can get this executed, the contractor's trying to mobilize on Monday to install timber pilings to hold up the wall that's currently looking pretty bad and has shifted.
So would they just put them in front of them,
Correct.
just set the timber pounds?
Yeah.
Can't kick out, I guess.
Yeah, so the timber pile stops the bulkhead wall from falling over. So the first piece fell over forward. First, you had a soil loss behind it. Whenever that dropped, it sheared the rebar holding the whole thing up. And you have a tieback system. So if this was the bulkhead wall, you actually have these anchors back here about 15 to 25 feet. And you have a metal bar that holds that wall up. When that dropped and the sidewalk dropped, it sheared all those off. So it didn't have any support, fell completely over. Timber pilings, so if this piece is fallen, they'll set these timber pilings on the wall that's still standing. Then they'll start to install the metal wall on one side. And when they get to those timber pilings, they'll pull one piling out, put in the metal piling. So that metal should secure the dirt and stop the concrete from falling in.
How wide are each one of those sheets? This is just out of curiosity.
They come in pairs, and I think the pair, I've got it right here.
Couple of feet, well, it's about 4 feet of pair.
25 inches for a single, so it's about 4 feet per pair.
And then they're like tongue and groove.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, yeah.
Yeah, so we used the same pilings, sheet piling at Charlie's Pasture, whenever they had that major blowout and FEMA funded that blowout. If y'all ever got out there, these sheets are 1/2 inch thick, which looks like a bunker. It's just some heavy duty industrial stuff.
So the fix would be do this, and then we would come, once it's stabilized, we would come back with a repair to match the bulkhead cap and then redo the sidewalk behind it. After it settled for a while, we were happy with the repair.
So you have a sheet, and here it's pointing at a sheet showing it's got some width, and I'm guessing there's two pieces there and then something fills in behind it.
Yeah, so we're gonna have these metal sheets. Let's start with the big gap where you don't have any concrete. You're gonna have metal sheets. We're gonna have 3 to 5 inch bull rock behind it. Native fill sand on top of that. So you've got about a 5-foot section of rock that's going behind the bulkhead. That's gonna prevent any kind of soil loss, any kind of dirt moving. It'll get plugged up in that rock and acts as a filter. Between the metal sheet panel and the existing concrete, you're going to have 1 inch gravel, and that acts as another filter to stop soil loss from behind that. So out in front, we're also going to have a rock revetment plan, and there's a 2-course layer of rock revetment in a triangle that rests up against the wall and on the seafloor and mudline. So you've got kind of a triple protection. It's structural, but it's also for soil loss. So you've got triple protection there. And we are extending this metal wall about 10 to 15 overlap with bulkhead that's not damaged right now. So we hope we can get in front of it and get it installed before anything else falls in. But
Yeah, that went pretty quick.
yeah, it gets expensive fast.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
We are in discussions with the port, so I can't promise you anything, but we're hoping that maybe they can help us out. But it's just not
Yes.
a given right at this
Yeah.
point. But they were very receptive, and into our calls last week, and I think they're willing to help us out and do something. I just can't.
That's good.
It's not a promise but we are working that angle too. And we also declared an emergency. So we had the mayor declare an emergency so that our fee for Broadus del Sol can go after hazard mitigation funds.
Okay.
So we're going that route too. So we think that we can at least, what's that?
And we didn't still bid it, so that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we have a couple alternate funding mechanisms that we're working behind the scenes. I just can't say that it's what it's gonna be at this point, but we are hopefully have a couple different alternative for funding
That would
sources.
be nice.
Yeah.
Are the areas of failure, is that pretty much the only area right now along that bulkhead?
Yeah, Anthony and we took Anthony's boat out and we drove that primary face there and looked at it. It's really that one point. I mean, when you go about 20 feet in either direction, you get into 8 feet of water, but right here, it's 16 feet deep.
Yeah.
It's one just deep scour hole
Just
that
scour it.
current just must just go over there and it just, it started to eat out. And as that hole got bigger, I think what happens is that water column comes through there and it just drops and it acts just like a shovel and it's just gouging away at the seabed.
Is there anything else, because this is where the ebb is hitting, that we want to put there at this time?
Yeah,
Extra whatever.
We went and we measured all the different points out there. So Doug and I, we walked this whole thing. We checked this point here is good. We walk down here, it gets even shallower. Walk down this way, it all gets shallow. That's the one hot spot in Roberts Point
But
that we're
the
concerned about.
ships and everything's gonna do the same. Is there anything extra that we can put it? that
Well, what we
point?
would do is,
Just
this
in case.
really fixes it with the rock.
Okay.
But the next step, the next long-term step would be to armor this whole thing with rock,
And maybe.
like we're doing in Charlie's pasture.
Yeah, like down there.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, because the
the,
ships are gonna keep coming.
But
Yeah.
does it do any good now to get some more rock on the outside?
No,
we are putting rock on the outside,
Yeah.
but
But even more?
the entire thing will be very extensive.
Okay.
I think
Right.
it might be worth waiting for.
Okay.
yeah, I think we wait.
All right.
I think this correction's expensive enough and it's very healthy and robust. And it'll buy us time to where staff can have the opportunity to pursue, a full, 2,000 feet or whatever that is.
Monitoring, just regular monitoring is a good idea. Make
Yeah,
sure
it's
we're not
about
developing.
1,400 feet. You want to discuss the bids, Anthony?
Yeah, so I have personally worked with every one of these companies. I knew every project manager. And called each one personally to submit a bid. They were all very receptive, very responsive. Helped get all this together. Our two low bids are SR Trident and Shirley and Sons. SR Trident did the boardwalks out in the wetlands, the FEMA project out there. They're currently working on a marina project for the city of Corpus Christi in the Corpus Christi Marina. Very well-known marine contractor around here, does commercial docks. So I've got the confidence they can get this thing fixed right. Again, we've got, so SR Trident was the apparent low bidder at 382 with Shirley and Sons, who's also very competent marine contractor at 398. They basically goes up to 605 and more from there, but
Yeah, notice on the three items, the AZ 26 sheet panel, there were some big unit cost variances.
Yeah.
Between the 3 to the 5.
they
So just
varied
curious.
widely, and some of that's availability and the really quick emergency bidding process that we did. So some of these marine contractors, they have relationships or they might even have some sheets at the yard,
Mhm.
compared to having to order them from a different state or wait for them to come in from somewhere else. So
Gotcha, so the quantities all are gonna be met, it's just the unit costs that came in really favorable for us on.
Yeah.
With ST Trident.
Yes.
SR Trident, sorry.
Yeah, and now Trident, their sheets, they're putting these emergency pilings in. It's still gonna take them 3 to 4 weeks to get those pilings, get them coated and get them out there. And that's where we have a start. We've got a 40 days is what Trident submitted as their bid, starting on Monday, 6:30 to get those timber pilings in.
Okay.
Yeah, the timber pilings can go in
Yeah.
right away.
Correct.
And the timber pilings are in here.
Yes, they're part of, it's part of their plan.
Okay.
It's part of the cost. It's not, it shouldn't be an additional cost.
All right.
So we have notes in here that says the contractor shall submit a plan to stabilize the existing bulkhead, and that's what we've discussed this week. That's their plan. Yep.
Okay.
And the panel cost, is that their labor and material wrapped up in there?
Yeah, that's installed
But
cost.
that we're not seeing the breakdown. Guys that do it more may have. They've got the equipment or something that they can do it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And assuming they're doing this all from land. Are they gonna have to barge?
So we've had 2 discussions. They want to do it all from land. Obviously, it's cheaper. They have barges working in Corpus. Their plan of action right now is to do it all from land, but if they need to, they've talked about possibly moving a barge over to install the timber pilings, because they have a excavator and a crane and a vibro, so they're gonna install this vibratory. You may see a barge out there, but the plan is to do it all from land.
Seems like it'd be hard. It's just the current and everything else in there to
It's
keep the
the,
barge.
the ships, but they do it.
LNG ships are amazing.
Yeah.
Those guys do.
We built the Roberts Point Park Pier and the Charlie Pasture Pier and the Brunderet Pier and in the same conditions, but the contractor can call in what's called a slow bell with the port, and it slows the ships down as they come through there.
My question to you is, as I'm learning all the budgetary things, is it for now, the funding for this comes out of a general fund or?
No, we're eligible to take this out of hotel until special.
Okay. And then try to get back whatever we can.
Yeah.
Put back in there.
I think these are fair prices. It's a lot of work. It's very specialized work. You can't just get any contractor to come in and do this commercial bulkhead stuff.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're recommending SR Trident, correct?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can
Yeah, make a
you
motion.
make a motion?
Any more
I guess I'll
discussion? No more discussion. If not, then I ask for a motion.
make a motion to approve the resolution awarding a bid for emergency bulkhead repairs at Roberts Point Park, authorizing city manager to execute all necessary documents and providing an effective date and awarding the bid to SR Trident. Is that all we need for $382,733.20?
I will second the motion.
Call roll.
Councilmember Christensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Councilmember Shalmitis,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Crawford,
Yeah.
motion carried.
Okay,
Let's fix our bulkhead.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys very much. Yeah.
get it done, get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was nervous being within 10 feet of it when I went over there to look at it.
Yeah,
David and I took my boat out there and drove from the bulkhead a few times to get bathymetry out there. So it's,
Well, just even getting closer, like wondering when the next one's gonna.
oh,
Look great.
all right, thanks, everyone.
yep. Thank you guys so much.
Putting it together.
Thank you.
Adjourned.
Oh.
Oh.
It's one of him.